Hello! You guys have just purchased your dehydrated sourdough kits from Prairie Roots, and now we're going to show you step by step how to rehydrate that dehydrated sourdough flakes and bake some delicious bread. Our first step is to go ahead and take out that how to rehydrate your sourdough starter recipe card that was provided in your kit. And we're going to go ahead and start with step one. Step one says place 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of the dehydrated starter flakes in the clean jar. Next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons or about 30 grams of filtered room temperature water. Okay. Now, it's very important that you use filtered water versus tap water. The chemicals in the tap water can kill the yeast. That's why you have to use some type of filtered water like what we have mentioned in this video. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my jar and we're going to go ahead and measure out our sourdough starter flakes. And again, we need 1 tablespoon of those flakes. Okay. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and pour my water and make sure I have 30 grams. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and dump it into my jar. Now, go ahead and grab a spatula. And what we're going to do is just kind of stir those flakes and that water together until all of the flakes are wet. It's going to look just like this. Okay. And now we're going to come back here within the next hour and check the status. Okay, welcome back. It's been an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and check on our dehydrated sourdough flakes and see if they've been dissolved. And as you can see, it's chunky still, and you still have some flakes. So I'm going to take a moment and try to stir that up a little bit and see if they will completely dissolve. Sometimes just kind of break them a little bit, stir it. So I haven't completely been able to dissolve them. So what I'm going to do is leave it for another hour and come back and check on it. Okay, and so I will see you in the next hour. Welcome back. We are at that 2-hour mark, and we're going to take a look at our sourdough starter. And this is what you're going to see. And if you could tell, most of ours is completely liquid. You'll have a few chunks, which is completely normal. But when you get to this consistency, you're ready to move on to the next step. So for this next step, we're going to need the flour that you were provided in the starter kit. It should be in a little envelope like this. And you're going to need your shower cap. That's what this is for. And what we're going to do is read step 2 and move forward. So it says, add 1 tablespoon of unbleached flour and mix well until you reach a pancake-like thickness. Cover loosely with the lid or the plastic wrap or our shower cap. And we're going to keep it at room temperature for 12 to 24 hours, okay? So what we're going to do is get our flour, and I want you guys to pay attention to the type of flour that we're using. It's King Arthur unbleached all-purpose flour. Now you can use this one, or you can use the King Arthur bread flour. That works just as well, or any type of unbleached flour that you desire. Okay, so let me get my 2 tablespoons out real quick. So I'm going to add 1 here. And what I like to do is in between tablespoons, I'm going to go ahead and give it a stir to see if I get that consistency. What you're going to notice is sometimes you may not need that full 2. It kind of depends on your climate. Okay, so when I stir this, you're going to see that it's still a little loose, but it is getting closer to that pancake consistency. So what I'm going to do, instead of adding 1 more, I'm going to just add a half a tablespoon to it. And that's what you'll kind of have to do. So what you're looking for is that pancake type consistency. So now that I have that, I'm just going to stir that up and show you what it looks like. Now, if you you put too much in there and it needs a little bit of water, that's perfectly fine. Dab a little bit of that spring water in to try to get it to that pancake consistency. Okay, and so there is the consistency we're looking at. It moves, but it's still a little liquidy, but that's what we're looking for. So once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to place it in on the counter and use your shower cap, and we're just going to leave it alone for 12 hours. Now, I usually check at the 6-hour mark just to see how it's moving. I will take the spatula and move things down on the side, just kind of stir it a bit to check on it, and then again at the 12-hour mark, see where we're at. And what we're looking for at the 12-hour mark is, has it risen any? Okay, so that's where we're at, and we'll come back in 6 to 12 hours. Okay, folks, so we made it to the 6-hour mark. What we're going to do is take our jar and we're just going to kind of clean the edges up, and then we're going to see how it has grown, if it has at all. And take this off. You'll see that we have all these insides right here. I'm just going to kind of scrape those down and clean the jar up and see where we're looking at. So when I look at this, you see how it is still cake-like, but it's getting a little thicker. That's exactly what we want, okay? So what I'm gonna do for the rest of the 6 hours, which is gonna be overnight for me, I'm going to mark it with a marker of where it's at now, as soon as I get it level. And I'm gonna wanna see how much it has rose. So I'm gonna mark it on the side actually, since I've kind of messed it up a little bit. And I do that just with like a chalk marker or dry erase, whatever you wanna use. And then we're gonna put the shower cap back on, set it aside for the evening, and we'll see how much it has rose. Now, I will tell you though, the amount that it rises over the day has a lot to do with the temperature in the home. I keep my temperature in the summer around 74, which isn't cold, but it isn't too warm. So if you're in a very cold home, I recommend putting this jar maybe in your microwave to get it to rise. Now, one way of doing that is put a cup of water in your microwave. It doesn't matter what kind, like a coffee cup water. Put it on for about 2 minutes, pull out that cup, and then stick the jar in the cup and shut the lid. Now, just leave it overnight like that and you're gonna see it grow. That kind of gives it like a moisture bath that has the heat, and it'll kind of help it increase with the rising. Now, if you don't want to do that, and it is summertime and it's kind of warm in my home, I'm just going to leave it on the counter, okay? That's about it. We will see you in the next 6 hours and see how much it has risen. Okay, so it's been 12 hours, and what we're going to do is take a look at our starter, and you'll see it didn't rise. It didn't rise too much, but look how thick it is. That's what you're looking for. And you notice the little water on top? That's what you call is a hooch. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and start with the next step, which is feeding it 2 tablespoons of your flour and 2 tablespoons of your water. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And every place is different, so it may be that you need less water or more water, kind of depends. So what we're gonna do is stir this up with 1 tablespoon to start and see where we're at, and then we're going to see if we need to add more. Again, what we're looking for is that pancake consistency, and as you see, this is more dough, so I'm definitely gonna need to add more water. All right, so that's what we're looking at. It's a little lumpy, but it's a little dough-like, so I'm just gonna add a smidgen more water and mix it in, and then we're going to set it for another 6 to 12 hours. I'm going to check it at the 3-hour mark, because if it has grown and doubled its size, then we are good. And because the weather is much warmer than it has been, it might rise quicker. So we're going to see. So I will check back with you here in 3 hours. All right, folks, so we're at the 3-hour mark again, and you can see that we do have some progress. It hasn't completely doubled, but we did get a little bit of rising. So we're going to go ahead and continue with our feeding and add our 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of water. So 1 and 2. And we're going to go ahead and grab our water and add about a 1, maybe 2 tablespoons and see where we're at. Now, as I'm stirring this, I'm noticing it's a little thin. I may have added too much water, or just the fact that it is rose, that we might need some more. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add just a smidgen more flour and try to thicken it up to pancake-like consistency. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and stir that up and see where we're at. Make sure all the sides are clean. We've got a good stir so we can see our progress here in the next 3 hours. And look, that's pancake-like consistency, and we are ready to go. So we're going to close this back up, leave it on the counter, and we'll see you in the next 3 hours. All right, folks, take a look at that. We see the original line is right here, and look, we've got it doubled, which means we are officially done rehydrating our sourdough starter. So from here, if you want to make some bread, you have 2 options. One, you can make a leaven, which is 1 tablespoon of this, and then you'll mix it in to additional flour and make a mini starter to make bread. Or you could take the entire 4th cup of this as your starter and immediately make bread. We'll talk about that in the next video when we talk about how to make sourdough bread from start to finish.